WIPO is implementing a project on intellectual property and product branding for business development in developing and least developed countries. The special interest of this project is that through the appropriate use of branding strategies, we will support local communities in their economic, social development.
Uganda's history of war, violence and economic ruin seems to be a thing of the past. Since the late 1980s, this landlocked country of almost 35 million has achieved relative stability and solid economic growth. Fertile soils and regular rainfall make agriculture the most important sector of Uganda's economy, employing 80% of its workforce. Uganda has decided to adopt branding and intellectual property tools through the World Intellectual Property Organization project in order to increase trade revenue from agricultural products.
As a country, we're looking at what we can market. We're looking at what can improve the incomes of the people. And then, of course, Uganda being agriculture, we look at the agricultural products we have. Does this product have a market internationally, regional or internationally? What is its potential to compete or even to develop?
And cotton has great potential. Introduced in Uganda in the early 20th century, it's today the second most important export crop in the country, generating income for 2.5 million people. The Ugandan authorities have chosen cotton, together with sesame and vanilla, to increase their competitiveness on the international market through the use of intellectual property and branding tools.
The lint that is produced from Ugandan cotton is said to be even, which makes spinning easier. Cotton lint and yarn produced from Ugandan cotton has this white bright color, which is demanded by customers and which do not need any chemical to have that color. These distinctive characteristics are well known and recognized in the international cotton market. In fact, stakeholders reported that Ugandan cotton is used as a blend to market inferior cotton products of other countries. So it has that unique characteristics, that unique features which can be captured, protected and exploited using intellectual property and branding tools.
Richard Parwat, a lawyer by training and a farmer by choice, now heads a company that owns a ginnery in the North Nile zone of Uganda. Parwat, a firm believer in mechanisation, is helping farmers increase their production of cotton and bumper crops by mobilising them and providing tractors to plough their unused land.
They are actually the landlords of Uganda. Many of them, although are living right now in grass-thatched houses, in hopeless situations, actually have hundreds of acres belonging to them in their tradition. So the man and that family is actually a rich family, only that they don't know. So when we begin to show them how to use their land in a small way, and they begin to expand themselves, then the expansion is unstoppable. So we have examples of those who started with 1 acre and today they are going for 50 acres each person. And this is within a period of only 2 years.
Aluma Gad is one such farmer. Although rich in land, just like his father and grandfather before him, he planted cotton on only 1 acre plots. In 2009, after meeting with Parwat and partners, he decided to clear 10 acres of land for cotton and maize. The decision proved to be a turning point for Aluma.
It's like a miracle. Even I didn't believe that I can do that. Because let me tell you, when we were told to uproot trees from 10 acres, like here in my village, many registered, but when listening to the actual work of it, everybody drops. And people were laughing at us that we are wasting our time, this company is cheating us. But when we do everything, and the tractors, they came on board, clearing everything, I think we were only 4. But at the end of the year, we are all millionaires. Like I myself, by that year, I have something like 4.5 million. That was 2009.
Today, Aluma has expanded and has 22 acres of cotton. Although this year the prices of cotton on the international market are low, Aluma isn't deterred and says one has to be patient in agriculture. He says he's aiming for 50 acres. He's now eager for Ugandan cotton to become a brand.
Farmers are excited. Their question is, when exactly will the branding system start? Because we have been hearing some of the countries, those farmers which their crops are branded, they have good advantage. This is what we are hearing. Value addition we had, it is normal there. And it is good for a consumer to know where the product comes from. I think that's very encouraging. I hope this one will help us.
The use of branding and intellectual property tools would enable Uganda to market its cotton differently from the rest of the cotton. By further building the reputation and goodwill around that brand, you will not only retain the customers that you have, you will also create new customers, That, at the end of the day, would increase the demand of Ugandan cotton. Price is a function of demand. As demand increases, the price of Ugandan cotton would increase.
Sesame is the other upcoming product for branding in Uganda. In the North Nile zone, where they call it Simsim, practically every farmer grows it in rotation with cotton.
Even where cotton prices are depressed entirely, you will still find people growing cotton, not because they're thinking about what money it will bring them, but they're knowing that the ground is prepared for their next crop, which is sesame. It's a food which they keep throughout the year. It has good value, more than cotton.
Although most farmers in the North Nile zone grow an improved high-yielding sesame, Awera Charles, a 41-year-old farmer, has decided to allocate a plot to a local variety.
We don't want to destroy the local varieties, the natural varieties, because some people tend to say that it has more oil.
So when we went into trying to discover this particular sesame, we found out that it had a very high oil content. We think it is the highest in the world. We know now that fast pressing we can get 56% oil, but we've been told by a friend in Canada that actually it is 72% oil. That makes it the highest.
For Richard Parwat, most of the sesame oils found on the market are either mixed with other oils or heated more than is necessary. He believes the North Nile zone variety has the requisite unique qualities for branding and cold-pressed pure oil. Awera Charles, the Simsim farmer, couldn't agree more. He thinks proper branding of his sesame will bring in more money.
This is my house. You look at it as I want even to have this one in the future. I'll be very pleased. I want to be very pleased when I'm acquiring this one with my children. There's no fire, no what. You just switch on the electricity or switch on the solar. You see things are coming. You don't move very, even the toilet will be confined within one place. That's why I feel very pleased when I have this one. So I want the sesame and the rest to improve on my living so that I get something good for my children and me. I look very smart. Yeah.
Nowadays, whenever Charles needs money, he sells his sesame to a middleman in his village. He gets 2,000 Ugandan shillings per kilo for his local variety. He says this year the prices have gone down, but for now he has no other choice but to sell at the prices imposed by the buyer. Mukono, southeastern Uganda. Here they call him the grandfather of vanilla. For John Naviri, 79 years old, vanilla has been a passion since 1956.
When the white people have gone, I stayed only one person in the country knowing vanilla history or vanilla working. So I encouraged some of my farmers, some of my friends to start growing vanilla. Why? Because by that time, vanilla was used as a flavor.
Today, John Naviri is the chairman of the Mukono Vanilla Spices and Horticulture Cooperative Society. Out of its 6,000 members, 1,000 produce vanilla. Originally from Mexico, vanilla was introduced in Uganda in the 1950s during colonial times. Although currently the Bourbon-branded vanilla from Madagascar reigns supreme on the world market, the Ugandan vanilla is recognised as having the highest vanillin content in the world. In Uganda, vanilla isn't a priority export product, but the government has recognised its importance and has chosen Mukono vanilla as the third crop for the WIPO Intellectual Property and Branding Project.
Vanilla doesn't need any spray, doesn't need any chemical. So Mukono vanilla is almost organically grown. That's why we fetch a name in the world market that Mukono vanilla is good because it's 100% natural.
Although Ugandan vanilla is well known for its qualities on the international market, the producers don't reap the benefits of its reputation.
A farmer sells 1 kilogram of Ugandan vanilla for $8. The Ugandan exporter sells it for about $19. But the foreign importer sells the same amount of vanilla for $180 plus, and the retailer for more than $320. In fact, it's only 3% of the retail income that is coming back to Uganda.
For John Naviri, the Mukono vanilla is the perfect product. It deserves worldwide recognition. But above all, better prices on the world market will encourage the new generation of farmers to grow vanilla.
If we get better price, we shall keep our farmers grow more. We shall keep our farmers do their own improvement, say taking their children to schools, having better homes.
Expectations are high, and the Ugandan farmers who are aware of IP and branding are raring to go. But for Getachew Mengistu, the producers will have to be patient before they can expect to see any results.
Branding is not something that would bring in a result in a short period of time. It takes time and resource. I mean, if I take Café Colombia as an example, that brand needs to be promoted for more than a decade to have the brand recognition that Café Colombia enjoys now.
The government is aware of the challenges of increasing the competitiveness of Ugandan products on the international market.
If you promise you're going to ship, for instance, 20 metric tons of a certain product, you should be able to keep that, to send it every week. Now, one individual may find it very difficult, but when you have an association, if one fails, at least the others will not fail. That commitment will be made.
Although Uganda has yet to pass a law to protect geographical indications for agricultural products, Juliet Nasuna at the Ugandan Registration Services Bureau doesn't foresee any problems. The bill will pass in Parliament in 2012. For her, the biggest challenge in Uganda remains the lack of awareness at all levels on intellectual property rights and branding.
When we are going to do branding of particular products like vanilla and cotton, then that will help us talk to the farmer so that the farmer understands that there are some rights that accrue as a result of intellectual property rights registration, and therefore it brings the product better, the marketing is better, and the income improves. So it's really very important. I would be so happy if IPR and branding become household, points of reference, because that's when people will understand the importance of intellectual property in today's economy.